Welcome to my channel, Good Read Self-Growth. Today, we will discuss the book titled The Art of Detachment by Shubham Kumar Singh.
It's great to be here. And this topic, I think it's maybe one of the most important things we could be talking about right now. I mean, just look around. It feels like everyone is just holding on for dear life.
Holding on and white-knuckling it, yeah. It's funny, when I first saw the title, The Art of Detachment, I immediately had this image,
A monk on the mountain.
The monk of the mountain,
Yeah.
exactly. I thought, okay, here we go. This is going to be about renouncing all my worldly possessions, moving to the Himalayas, and I don't know, pretending I don't care if my stocks go down.
Right, that you have to become this cold, unfeeling robot to find peace. It's a common misconception.
A huge one. But the book just doesn't go there. Instead, the author, Shubham Kumar Singh, he starts with this contradiction that is, honestly, it's almost painfully relatable. He calls it the paradox of plenty. We have so much. I mean, objectively. We have careers, amazing technology. You can get food delivered from anywhere at any time. We're living lives that would be unimaginable to people just a few hundred years ago. On paper, it's all there.
But there's a but.
There's a huge but. It's that feeling. He calls it the 3 a.m. question. And I think everyone listening knows exactly what that is.
Oh, yeah. The house is dark. It's quiet.
Everything's fine. The bills are paid. The kids are healthy. Your job is secure. And you're just staring at the ceiling thinking, is this it?
Or the even scarier version. What if this all goes away?
Yes. What if I lose this? That's the one. That's the real monster under the bed.
And that question right there, that's the whole premise of the book. That feeling is the vibration of attachment. The author argues we're not unhappy because we don't have enough. We're unhappy because we're clutching what we do have so tightly that we're choking the life out of it.
So the problem isn't the having, it's the holding, which means the solution is letting go. But that's where and I think a lot of people, get tripped up. I mean, this word detachment, it has a serious PR problem.
A very serious one. It sounds like apathy. It sounds like not caring.
It sounds like if I stopped clinging to my career, I'll just get fired. If I'm detached in my relationship, my partner's going to think I don't love them anymore and just leave.
And that's why we have to redefine the term right up front. If you hear nothing else in this deep dive, hear this. Detachment, as this book defines it, is not freedom from caring. It's freedom from the outcome.
Freedom from the outcome. Okay, let's unpack that.
It means you still give 100%.
Right.
You love with your whole heart. You work your tail off. You show up fully. But you release your emotional dependency on a specific result.
So you can be in the middle of a storm
without becoming the storm. You can feel a wave of sadness or anger without letting it drown you. It's not about feeling less. It's about feeling everything, but with a sense of space around it.
Feeling without drowning. I like that. That feels achievable. To really get at this, though, the author uses the central narrative, this story of a young man named Arav. And Arav is just, he's us. He's every ambitious, stressed out person trying to make it.
He is. He's the classic success story, right?
Yeah.
Comes from a small village, works incredibly hard, gets the high-paying tech job in the big city. He's got the nice apartment, the good salary, the respect. He's checked all the boxes.
But inside his head, it's just chaos. He's constantly anxious, worried he's going to fail, terrified of losing what he's built.
So he does what a lot of us dream of doing. He goes home. He goes back to his village to find some clarity and ends up talking to this wise old man, Babaji, under a huge peepal tree.
And he basically just lays it all out. He says, I have everything I was ever told would make me happy, so why do I feel so hollow?
And Babaji's response is just perfect. He doesn't launch into some complex philosophical lecture. He just points at nature. He picks up a few dry leaves.
Yeah, and the wind just whips them away.
And they dance in the air. They just go with it. And Babaji says something like, the leaf can only fly because it let go of the branch. The branch doesn't weep for it. It understands.
But the lesson that really, really landed for me, the one that just punches you in the gut with its simplicity, is the sandcastle.
Ah, the sandcastle. It's such a powerful metaphor.
It is. So Babaji tells Arav to imagine 2 children on a beach. Child A is building a sandcastle. It's an amazing castle. Towers, walls, a moat, the works.
He's putting the effort. He's being creative.
But the whole time, he's a wreck. He's screaming at seagulls. He's yelling at people not to walk too close. He's staring at the ocean with pure terror in his eyes. He's not playing anymore. He's guarding.
He's attached.
Yeah.
He thinks the castle is permanent. And then inevitably the tide comes in. A big wave just washes it all away.
And what does Child A do?
He has a total meltdown. He's sobbing. His world has just ended because his happiness was in the castle.
Okay, then there's Child B. He builds the exact same castle. Same effort, same creativity. He's loving the process. The feel of the sand, the look of the towers. He's completely absorbed in the building.
But he accepts the truth of the situation. It's a sandcastle.
Yeah.
On a beach.
Uh-huh.
Next to an ocean.
Yeah.
He knows what's coming.
Right, so when that same wave comes and flattens his creation, he laughs, he claps, he thinks, whoa, what a wave, and he's already looking around for a good spot to build the next one.
He enjoyed the process, not the product. The joy was in the building, not the keeping.
That's the goal, isn't it, to be child B? But here's the thing. My career isn't a sandcastle. My marriage isn't a sandcastle. My life savings. These things feel a lot more like concrete than sand.
Do they, though? I mean, really, in the grand timeline of things, aren't they all just beautiful, elaborate sandcastles?
Yeah.
The tide of the economy, the tide of time, the tide of change. It's always coming in. The book argues that we suffer because we've convinced ourselves that the sand is supposed to last forever.
And we think our happiness depends on it lasting.
Exactly. And that leads right into this first big idea the book breaks down. The sheer psychological weight of all this clinging. The author has this brilliant term for it. He calls it mortgaging happiness.
Yes. I underlined that like 5 times. A mortgage. It's a debt you're borrowing from the future.
Think about the language we use in our own heads. I'll finally be happy if I get that promotion. I'll relax when we buy the house. My life will be good after I lose 20 pounds.
It's constant conditional happiness. You're basically telling yourself, I'm not allowed to be happy right now. You're putting your own peace of mind in escrow.
And you're paying for it with the currency of your present moment. But here's the real trap in that mortgage. Let's say you get the promotion. The mortgage is paid real. You should be happy now.
But you're not, because the second you get it, a new anxiety pops up.
What is it?
What if I'm not good enough for this new role? What if they find out I'm an imposter? Or, okay, what's the next promotion? The goalpost just moves.
Precisely. The anxiety of desire is immediately replaced by the anxiety of loss. You never actually get to enjoy the thing you wanted because you're too busy being terrified of losing it. The happiness check is always post-dated.
It's a horizon you can never reach. The closer you get, the further it moves away.
That's the engine of attachment. It's a hunger that feeds on itself. The book has a great Foggle analogy for this, the tight fist analogy.
Okay, yeah, let's walk through this because it's a great way to feel it in your body. So if you're listening, you can do this with us. Just imagine you have a handful of fine, dry sand.
And that sand represents something you value. Your job, a relationship, your reputation, something you really, really want to keep.
Now, first, just hold your hand open, palm up, relaxed. The sand is just sitting there. It's safe. It's yours. This is detachment, the open palm.
You're holding it, but you're not strangling it. Okay, now what?
Now, get scared. Think, oh my God, I can't lose this sand. I have to protect it. And I want you to make a fist. Squeeze. Squeeze as hard as you can. What's happening to the sand?
It's pouring out. It's squirting through the gaps between your fingers. The harder I squeeze, the more I lose.
And how does your hand feel?
It's cramping. It hurts. It's a state of tension and pain.
And this is exactly what we do. In our relationships, we get afraid, so we tighten our grip. We become controlling, jealous. At work, we get insecure, so we micromanage and hoard information. We squeeze.
And in the very act of trying to secure the outcome, we destroy it. We push the people away. We create a toxic work environment. The fear manifests the very thing we were afraid of.
And we hurt ourselves in the process. That cramp in your hand, that's your stress, that's your anxiety, that's your burnout. The open palm keeps the sand and it keeps your peace.
This connects directly to one of the most critical points in the book, the danger of tying your identity to an outcome. And the story of Samir is it's a perfect illustration of this self-inflicted wound.
Oh man, Samir. I feel like we all have a little bit of Samir in us. Or a lot.
Totally. So Samir is the model employee. He's smart. He works hard. He does everything he's supposed to do. And he's been working towards a promotion for years. He's sacrificed for it. Late nights, cancel plans. You know the drill.
He sees it as a simple equation. I put in X amount of work, so I am owed Y promotion. It's a transaction.
Right. He thinks the corporate world is a vending machine, but it's not. It's more like a complex ecosystem with a million variables you can't control. And when the time comes, for whatever reason, office politics, a bad quarter, who knows? Samir doesn't get the promotion.
And a healthy, detached response would be, wow, that stinks. I'm really disappointed. I need to go for a run or vent to a friend.
Right. Disappointment. A normal human emotion about an event that happened. But that is not what happens to Samir. He doesn't just feel disappointed. He feels destroyed. He feels worthless. He can't even go into the office.
Why? What's the difference?
Because for Samir, the promotion wasn't just a goal. It was his identity. His internal monologue wasn't, my effort did not result in a promotion. His monologue was, I am a failure.
Ugh, that shift from "I failed" to "I am a failure," one is about an action, the other is about your very being.
And that is the ultimate price of attachment. When you fuse your sense of self to something external and uncontrollable, you are handing over the keys to your well-being. You're letting your boss or the stock market or your partner's mood decide your worth on any given day. Detachment is the act of taking those keys back.
Okay, so I want the keys back. I'm tired of being Samir. I want to live with an open hand. But how? How do you still care, still try your best, but not cling? This brings us to the real core of the book, this idea of care without clinging.
Yes, this is the central practice. And the author uses another beautiful analogy to explain it, the archer.
I love this one. Let's break it down because I think it directly addresses that fear of becoming apathetic.
Okay, so imagine you're an archer on a shooting range. Your goal is to hit the bullseye. The act of shooting that arrow can be split into two very distinct phases. Phase one is the input.
Everything I can control.
Everything. Your stance, how you hold the bow, the way you pull back the string, your breath, your focus. This is where the care part lives. You have to care immensely about this part. You have to practice your form for thousands of hours. You have to be completely present.
If you're apathetic here, if you're sloppy, you're not going to even come close to the target.
Not a chance.
Yeah.
But then comes phase two, the release. The second that arrow leaves the string,
And at that moment,
you've lost all control. A sudden gust of wind could blow the arrow off course. The target could shift. A bird could fly by. Anything could happen. That part. That is the outcome.
and detachment is knowing the difference between the two.
It is understanding on a deep level where your control ends. The master archer pours 100% of their focus into the input the process and 0% of their mental energy worrying about the outcome while they are in the process.
Because if you're thinking about the gold medal or what the crab will think,
Your hand will shake, your breath will get tight, you will mess up the one part you actually have control over, the input, because you are obsessed with the part you don't control. It's the great paradox. The less you fixate on hitting the bullseye, the more likely you are to hit it.
okay, I can see that for skills, for work, for projects. Focus on the work itself, not the reward. But what about people? The Ellen calls this the cage, and I think that's a good word for it. It feels a lot harder to be a detached archer when the target is someone you love.
It's infinitely harder.
Yeah.
And infinitely more important, because when we apply attachment to relationships, it often masquerades as love, but it's really just possession.
It's that "I love you, therefore" sentence. I love you, therefore you must text me back within 5 minutes. I love you, therefore you shouldn't have friends I don't like.
I love you, therefore you need to make me feel secure at all times.
Yeah.
It's not love. It's a transaction. You're trying to build a cage around someone to manage your own fear.
The book had that story about Raghav, the guy at work who was insanely jealous of his colleague, Vivek.
Right. And Vivek wasn't even a bad guy. He was just successful. And everyone liked him. Raghav was obsessed. He was losing sleep over it. Why? Because Raghav had attached his entire professional identity to being the number one guy.
So every time Vivek got praised, it felt like a direct attack on Raghav's own worth.
It felt like a piece of his identity was being stolen. He was trapped in a cage of comparison. The only way he found peace was by detaching from the outcome of being the best and reattaching to the process of doing his own work well. He had to realize Vivek's success and his success weren't mutually exclusive.
To help with this in relationships, the book suggests something called the guest mindset, which I found both beautiful and kind of heartbreaking.
It's a tough one, but it's profound. The idea is to treat the important people in your life, your partner, your friends, even your own kids like honored guests in your home.
What does that mean in practice?
Well, think about how you treat a guest you really like. You welcome them warmly, you're fully present with them, you listen to their stories, you give them your best, you cherish the time you have with them, but deep down, you know they're going to leave eventually.
You don't nail the door shut and refuse to let them out.
Exactly. You don't try to trap them, and when their visit is over, you walk them to the door, you thank them for coming, and you let them go with love. Applying this to our relationships means we love people fully, right now, without trying to own them or control their path.
That's radical, especially in romantic love where the whole idea is forever.
And you can hope for forever. You can work towards forever. But if you try to guarantee forever by locking the cage, you turn the home into a prison, and no one wants to stay in a prison. The deepest love comes from knowing the door is unlocked, and they are choosing every day to stay with you.
Staying because you are free to leave. That's a powerful thought. But, okay, let's follow that thread. If I adopt this guest mindset and I'm okay with people leaving, won't I just end up alone? That's the big fear, right?
It is the fear.
Yeah.
And that's why the next part of the book is so essential. It's about transforming that fear of being alone. It's about understanding the huge difference between loneliness and solitude.
The book uses the Hindi word for solitude, right? Ekat.
Yes, ekat. And the distinction is everything. Loneliness, the book says, is a feeling of lack. It's an ache. It says, I am incomplete without other people. It's when you need external noise, TV, social media, anything to avoid the silence in your own head.
It's a state of deficiency. So what's solitude?
Solitude, or ekat, is a state of fullness. It's being self-filled. It's the deep, quiet joy of your own company. You aren't missing anyone because you yourself are present.
But our entire culture pushes against that. Man is a social animal. If you go to a restaurant alone, people look at you with pity.
That's what the book calls the social myth. We're conditioned from birth to find our value in the tribe. It creates what he calls a borrowed identity. Our sense of self is just a reflection we see in other people's eyes. When we're alone, the mirror is gone, and we feel like we've disappeared.
There's that experiment in the book, The Digital Detox, that really shows this in action. It's not just a pleasant weekend offline.
No, the initial phase is agony. The character decides to turn off their phone for 48 hours, and the first few hours are pure withdrawal.
I can feel it just thinking about it. The phantom vibrations in your pocket.
The desperate urge to just check. The FOMO, the fear of missing out. What if there's a crisis? What if my friends are making plans? Do I even exist if I'm not posting about my existence?
Yeah.
It's a real addiction to external validation.
But if you can push through that initial panic,
There's a breakthrough. The noise floor drops. And suddenly, as the book puts it, you start to notice the texture of the wind or the actual specific taste of your tea instead of just gulping it down while scrolling.
the texture of the wind, that's beautiful. It's like your senses have been muted and they're slowly coming back online.
They've been drowned out by the static. And this is why solitude is a prerequisite for strength. You can't hear your own creative ideas if the world is screaming at you. You can't find your own inner compass if you're constantly looking at other people's maps.
So it's about shifting that internal story from I am alone and that's sad to I am with myself and that's powerful.
Exactly. From loneliness to ekate.
Okay, I'm on board. I want to be the archer. I want to find that strength in solitude. But let's be real, my nervous system is a mess. When my boss criticizes my work, I can't just logically decide not to feel that jolt of adrenaline. My body just reacts. So let's get practical. Let's get into the toolkit.
You're absolutely right. You can't think your way out of a physiological stress response. The mind might be the captain, but the body is the ship, and you have to work with the ship. The first and simplest tool is what the book calls the mindful pause.
Sounds simple. What is it?
It's a non-negotiable rule you make with yourself. When a trigger happens, a rude comment, a stressful email, bad news, you impose a mandatory pause. 3 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever you can manage, before you say a word, before you type a reply.
That sounds like an eternity when you're seeing red.
It feels like it, but in that tiny gap of time, you reclaim your freedom. That pause is the space between a reaction and a response.
What's the difference?
A reaction is automatic. The knee-jerk reflex, it's your lizard brain in control. A response is the conscious choice. In that 10-second pause, you can take one deep breath and ask, how do I want to handle this? Who do I want to be in this moment? You get to choose.
The pause is where your free will lives.
It is. Now, to make that pause more effective, you use your breath. This is the master key. I'd love to actually walk through one of the techniques from the book because just talking about it doesn't do it justice.
Let's do it. I'm game.
Okay, we'll do box breathing. It's incredibly simple and incredibly effective. Navy SEALs use it to stay calm in high-stress situations. It literally sends a signal to your nervous system to downshift from fight or flight into a calmer state.
Box breathing. Got it.
So you just visualize a box. You'll inhale for a count of 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and hold at the bottom for 4. Simple as that.
Okay.
So wherever you are, just empty your lungs. Now this is go. Inhale through your nose. 2, 3, 4. Now hold it. 2, 3, 4. Just exhale slowly through your mouth. 2, 3, 4. And hold empty. 2, 3, 4.
Wow.
Let's do it one more time. Deep inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold the air in. 2, 3, 4. Gently release. 2, 3, 4. Now hold at the bottom. 2, 3, 4. Now just breathe normally. What do you feel?
Calmer.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible to feel panicked while you're concentrating on that rhythm.
You can't. You're hijacking the system. There's a line in the book I love. The mind follows the breath. You can't just shout, calm down, at your anxious mind. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
But if you calm your breathing, your mind has no choice but to follow.
You can't talk yourself out of anxiety, but you can breathe yourself out of it. That's a game changer.
It really is the most practical thing in the whole book.
So what about those times when it's not acute panic, but more like my mind is just gone? I'm physically in a meeting, but I'm mentally reliving a mistake I made yesterday, or I'm worrying about something happening next week.
That's what the book calls time traveling. Your body is in the present, but your consciousness is stuck in the past or the future. For that, you need a grounding exercise. The classic one is the 5-4-3-2-1 technique.
Right. How does that one work?
It's about pulling your mind back into the present moment by force, using your 5 senses. So you stop and you consciously name 5 things you can see right now: the lamp, your computer screen, a crack on the wall. Then 4 things you can physically feel: the texture of your shirt, the cool surface of the desk, the weight of your feet on the floor. Then 3 things you can hear: the hum of the AC, a bird outside, your own breathing, 2 things you can smell. And finally, 1 thing you can taste, even if it's just the inside of your own mouth.
It anchors you. It forces your brain to process real-time sensory input instead of abstract thoughts.
You got it. Because you can't see the past, you can't touch the future. Your senses only operate in the now. It's like a mental reset button that brings you back to your body.
And the final tool in this section was about language. Labeling emotions.
Yes. This is a subtle but powerful shift. Instead of saying, I am angry,
You say, I'm experiencing a feeling of anger.
it sounds like a small change, but is it? I am angry makes the anger your identity. You have become the anger. I am experiencing anger reframes it. You are the person, the container, and the anger is just a temporary event passing through you.
The book uses that great analogy of the sky and the clouds.
You are the sky. Your emotions, joy, fear, sadness, anger, they're the clouds. Sometimes the clouds are white and fluffy. Sometimes they're a dark, terrifying thunderstorm that covers everything. But the sky is never the storm. The sky holds the storm. It lets the storm rage, and then it lets the storm pass. The sky remains unchanged.
So when I say I'm experiencing this, I'm reminding myself that I'm the sky, not the cloud.
You're the sky. You are vast enough to hold any weather that comes through.
Okay, this is all so helpful. But let's move on to how this applies to our big goals, to success and failure. Because even if we're calm, we're still trying to build things, and the book warns against what it calls the trap of next.
Ah, the arrival fallacy. This is so common. It's the story of the person whose happiness is always in the next stage of life.
You know the one, I'll be happy once I graduate from college. Then you graduate. Okay, now I'll be happy once I land that first real job.
Then you get the job. Well, I'll be truly happy when I get married. You get married, once
Yeah.
you have kids, then when the kids are out of the house,
And you wake up one day, you're 70 years old, and you realize you spent your entire life on the front porch waiting for the party to start, but the party was always happening inside.
life was the whole process, and you missed it because you were so focused on the destination. Detachment is the realization that there is no final arrival. There's just the journey.
The book has a really lovely way to reframe this. It suggests we should treat life more like a game and less like a test. And it uses the example of a child flying a kite.
Yes, the kite. So a little kid is flying a kite. He's running, laughing, completely in the moment. It's pure joy. Then suddenly a gust of wind comes and the string snaps. The kite is gone.
So what does the kid do? Does he write a 6-page report on his failings as a kite flyer?
No, he's bummed for a minute. Oh, my kite. But then what happens? He shrugs. He says, okay, let's play tag, or I'll build another one tomorrow. The game's over. On to the next one.
Whereas an adult, we lose a kite. A business deal falls through, a presentation doesn't land well, and we treat it like a final verdict on our character.
We treat it like a failed test that proves we're worthless. Detachment is about regaining that playful spirit, the ability to look at a failure and say, well, that didn't work. Game over. What's next?
It's just data. It's not a judgment. Failure is an event, not an identity.
That's the whole thing.
Okay, we're rounding third and heading for home. Let's talk about the daily practice. How do we weave this into the fabric of our lives? Section 6, the daily detachment routine.
It starts, maybe surprisingly, with your physical space.
Yeah.
The book draws a direct line between a cluttered home and a cluttered mind. So, step 1 is decluttering.
And the key here is guiltless letting go. This is hard for me. I still have gifts from people that I don't even like, but I feel guilty getting rid of them.
The proverbial ugly vase from a distant relative.
Totally. I feel like if I throw out the vase, I'm rejecting the person.
And that's a perfect example of attachment. You're sacrificing your daily peace and your serene environment out of obligation to a past moment. The book uses a great metaphor. Pruning?
It's like a gardener.
Exactly. For a rose bush to produce beautiful new roses, the gardener has to cut off the dead branches and dying flowers. If the bush held on to every dead leaf out of sentimentality, it would rot. It wouldn't have the energy for new growth.
So getting rid of the ugly vase is actually an act of self-care. It's making room for new things to grow.
You're pruning your life. And that applies to more than just objects. It applies to old habits, grudges, even relationships that no longer serve you.
The other big visualization from this section was the anchor.
Right, a boat absolutely needs an anchor. It keeps you safe in a storm. But if the boat never lifts its anchor, it's just a floating prison and can never actually sail and explore.
And we all have anchors, old beliefs about ourselves. I'm just not a creative person. I've always been bad with money.
Those are anchors. And detachment is about having the awareness to ask, is this anchor keeping me safe right now, or is it just keeping me stuck? And having the courage to pull it up and set sail.
So to finish up, can you give us a few of those daily micro habits the book suggests? The quick, actionable things?
Of course. First, in the morning, a 10-minute no-input rule. Before you touch your phone, before you turn on the news, just sit. Have your coffee or tea. Let your own mind be the first voice you hear in the morning, not the chaos of the world.
That one is so simple and so incredibly difficult.
It's a discipline. Second, during a conflict, activate observer mode. Imagine you can float up to the ceiling and look down on the situation. Watch yourself getting defensive. Watch the other person getting angry. Just observe it like a scene in a movie. It instantly creates space and lowers the emotional temperature.
And last one.
At night, a one-question review. Before you go to sleep, ask yourself, what did I hold on to too tightly today? A comment someone made. An expectation that wasn't met. Just notice it. No judgment. The awareness itself is the practice.
What did I hold on to too tightly today? That's a fantastic question. It trains you to see the pattern.
And once you can see the pattern of your grip, you can consciously choose to relax it.
So, as we wrap this up, we've gone from the paradox of modern life to sandcastles, to archers, to box breathing. If you had to distill this entire powerful book into a single core message, what would it be?
I think it would be this. Detachment is not about having nothing. It's about nothing having you.
Say that again?
Detachment is not about having nothing. It's about nothing having you.
That's it. That's the whole thing right there. It's not about emptying your life. It's about not being a prisoner to your life.
It's the highest form of self-respect, really. It's the commitment to not allowing external events or other people's opinions to dictate your internal state of peace. You are the sky. You are not the weather.
I love that. Okay, so for everyone listening, we want to leave you with a small challenge. Let's call it the open hand challenge.
Okay, so right now, just bring to mind one thing, just one, that you're gripping too tightly. It could be a grudge you're holding. It could be a worry about money. It could be your need for a specific person's approval. Just pick one thing.
Feel it in your mind. Feel that tension, that tight fist we talked about.
And just for today, that's all. Just for the rest of today, I want you to mentally open your hand. Uncurl the fingers. Just let that thing sit in your open palm. You're not pushing it away. You're just releasing the grip.
Say what happens. See if you can breathe a little deeper. Notice if the tension in your neck eases up. Just a bit. Just try it.
And we'll leave you with one final provocative thought to chew on. We think our greatest fear is losing the things we're attached to. Losing the job, losing the person, losing the status.
But what if that's not the real fear? What if, deep down, we're actually afraid of the immense freedom we would feel if we let them go?
Ask yourself this question tonight. What would you do tomorrow if you knew for a fact that you didn't need anyone's approval or permission to be happy? What would change?
That is a big, powerful, and slightly terrifying question to end on. Thank you so much for walking us through all of this. This was incredible.
It was a true pleasure, a really important conversation.
And thank you all for listening to this deep dive. This has been Good Read Self-Growth. Remember to enjoy building your sandcastles, but also enjoy the waves.